Okay, let's crack this one open and see what it's all about. The brand new Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir, which is coming in at a parfum concentration. This one's still sealed up in the typical tin can configuration. They have a lot of great flankers. I think their best releases have been flankers. Everything from Ultra Male, which can be too sweet for some. I still think it's really good. And most notably even Le Male Le Parfum, which is very heavy on the cardamom and the lavender vanilla combination, and really is a great take on that DNA as well. You can go over to all their summer versions as well if you want to talk about those, but ultimately I think the flankers are the way to go, and I'm really excited about this Elixir flanker here. Yeah, they're following the trend, and this is going to continue to go on. Every big notable designer brand is going to release their version of an Elixir style flanker, so better buckle up and be ready for that ride. I actually got this one in right before we left and went on vacation. So the whole time we were gone, I knew this was sitting at home, couldn't get a video out on it, couldn't have smelled it either. So I'm a little bit late to the game, but let's go ahead and crack it in and see what it's all about. From what I understand, it looks like this one has been catching a lot of hype already, so we'll see if it's worth it. Okay, so here is the bottle. This is a 75 ml. This is the only option that I had available to me when purchasing mine, but they do come in this and the 125. Pretty standard. One thing you'll notice right away is they do have the little pull tab still, but this one is much more fancy. Instead of the little flimsy keychain feeling one, the silver one that all of the other bottles have, this one has a nice big gold ring around it. Pretty cool feature. Definitely adds to the premium feel, and I can tell you just by holding this and looking at this, by far the best bottle in the lineup. It really does have a more expensive premium feel because it's got this kind of metal texture, and you still have kind of the stripes, so to speak, in the shirt, which does reveal the level of the liquid inside, so that way you have an idea of how much you're using up. Great presentation, by far the best one that we've had so far. And again, you know, it already kind of gives it a luxurious, expensive look. So we'll see if it smells the part as well. So it actually opens up, kind of reminded me a good bit of Le Male Le Parfum, the vanilla, the lavender kind of combo, which is iconic, but then also a little bit of that warm spice, a little bit of that rich feel that you would get, again, from something like Le Male Le Parfum. One thing I will say is that it does vary a lot from the original. So, you know, this is one of those deals where they're still continuing to kind of push it and walk further and further away from that OG, but with still kind of tying back to it. You know, they're not getting too far to where you can't tell that it's a flanker, but they are definitely making sure to cut back on the redundancy. Also, it differs a lot from Ultra Male. So one of the big issues with Ultra Male is the sweetness is way too overbearing, primarily from the pear. It's a very fruity sweetness. Okay, this one doesn't have that going on. It's a vanilla tonka combo with a little bit of a aromatic lavender. Have very much a syrupy, sweet richness about this one, even more so than something like Le Male Le Parfum, and even again a different type of sweetness compared to Ultra Male. So you can tell that they are trying to appeal to a different audience with this one, and I would say maybe it's a little bit more grown up even, because Ultra Male is very much a youthful smelling scent, and that's not to say that someone who's older can't wear it, because they can, anybody can, but they do have a target audience with Ultra Male, and you can tell that it is the younger crowd. Le Male Le Parfum is kind of right there in the middle, still kind of favoring the younger audience in my opinion. You get over to something like this one, you're getting a lot more depth, more complexities behind it. It's more interesting to just the kind of wearing experience that it's going to give you. It's something that you will continue to want to dive into and see where it progresses next, whereas maybe some of the others, that's not your first thought when you're wearing it. You're probably tossing it on just to smell good and get some compliments. But there's actually something about this one that will intrigue you and make you want to continue to dive in. So we'll take a look at the note breakdown. They do give us a little bit to work with. We have lavender and mint up top, so very common. In the mid, we have vanilla and benzoin, so two vanilla type notes there in the mid. In the base, we have a honey, tobacco, and tonka bean combo. Very iconic, not for this line, But in general, when you take a look at some of the big heavy hitters out there, something like Xerjoff Naxos, Mugler's Pure Havane, anything along those lines, what are they using? Oftentimes a honey, tobacco, and tonka bean is almost always found in the mix as well. It's a very, very safe, but also tried, tested, and proven note combination there, and it's something that works very well. Now, just because I dropped those other names doesn't mean that it smells like those necessarily. To me, it's not a Naxos clone. It's not a Pure Havane clone. However, can you say that maybe it fits in a similar ballpark to those? I would say that wouldn't be a stretch, and it would fit into that ballpark. A sweetness coming from the honey, vanilla richness. That tobacco is not to the level where it's going to be too smoky, too strong, too overbearing. This is still something that you can wear to school, to work, in pretty much any environment, and you're not going to put anyone off by that note. The tonka bean is adding to that dusty kind of powdery sweetness, and that's what you would expect to get from something like this anyway. But that does smell really, really good. It's a fantastic smelling scent. And, one of the main differences here, again, between this and Le Male Le Parfum is that this doesn't quite have the same type of cardamom kick that one does. Also, Le Male Le Parfum, when you stack them head to head, is a little bit fresher even. And, Le Male Le Parfum is definitely not a fresh scent by any stretch of the term. But then when you start comparing them side by side, you can immediately tell that something like Le Male Elixir is much heavier, much denser, and much sweeter. Because you do have some of that lavender, some of that mint, but it's toned back even more in this. And it's a little bit more, pronounced than something like Le Male Le Parfum. It kind of balances out the freshness and sweetness a bit more. This one pretty much dives in and focuses all on those sweet accords. So when you look and start seeing what this reminds people of, we've got Le Male Le Parfum up first, 107 to 39. That's upvotes to downvotes there on Fragrantica. And again, yeah, there's definitely some similarities. More differences than similarities, but there are some. Ultramale, even further off the scale of just not all that similar. And I think people agree you've got 50 to 55. The original, 45 to 48, and again, it really is pretty far off from that one now. With each flanker, we get further and further away from that original, which I think is kind of a good thing. We have 1 million Elixir, which I kind of don't get. That one, yeah, it has a lot of vanilla, has the tonka bean sweetness, but you don't have honey, you don't have tobacco. It's a different scent. 1 million Ruby, similar deal. It just doesn't have that same type of note package in the base, that honey tobacco, which really kind of sets this apart. What else? 1 million Invictus Victory Elixir. Similar deal. It's got the vanilla. It has some of that tonka, a little bit of an olibanum in that one, which kind of gives off a little bit of a smokiness, kind of what this one has, but still more differences than similarities by a long shot. And one thing that I am surprised I haven't seen was a Xerjoff Naxos yet. We just ran across Mugler's Pure Havane, 20 to 22, 1 million Privé. Yeah, the list goes on. Just gets more and more bizarre and weird as it goes there. But yeah, guys, I mean, it really kind of stands on its own. From an originality standpoint, I think it brings something to the table here. It's not something that you have never smelled before. Again, that kind of composition in the base is something that is used all the time, and for a reason, it works. So you have smelled things similar to this before. However, when it stands alongside the rest of the Le Male lineup, I do think it brings a ton of value to this line. I don't know where the other flankers are going to stand, because this is not going to be the last flanker of the Le Male lineup. We all know that. So as they continue to produce more, they will have to continue to discontinue more. And we've seen it. It happens. It's normal. Where is that going to take place next? Are they going to axe Le Male Le Parfum and kind of make this the replacement, just a more kind of luxurious, stronger, richer enhancement? I don't really know, but we'll have to find out. And again, this is a parfum. I could be wrong, and I should probably grab my bottle and double check, but I think Le Male Le Parfum is a Le Parfum, which more or less works out to be an eau de parfum. So this is a higher concentration than that one, if I'm correct on that, but I don't know for sure. So performance-wise, we'll have to see. So far, about 10 minutes in, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. It's definitely not fading off quick. It's going to be a little bit softer. That parfum concentration kind of is indicative of a softer projection, but it does tend to leave a heavier scent trail. So I think if you want projection out of it, spray on a bit heavier, but ultimately this one is going to shine in leaving a trail, but also hopefully it's really going to do well at just lasting on skin for a long time. I don't think 10 hours is out of the realm of possibility for this one. Just throwing a guess out there, I think it's going to do pretty well. You know, for us here in the US and Canada and other parts, this is not a very timely release for us. We are in summer full force here. It's going to be hot and humid. Not the time for me to be testing this. That being said, as soon as fall rolls around and winter, this is really going to be heavy in my rotation. I can tell it's probably going to do pretty well in my top 10 winter list. And in terms of where it stacks up with all of the other new releases this year, it's definitely in the upper tier. I think it is a really good release. Very solid. Also, we've had a lot of other great new releases this year as well, but this one is holding up. It does smell great. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for me. Le Male Elixir Parfum. Really nice stuff. And once you can get this one available, especially a little bit below retail, you should definitely consider it if you are a fan of the line and you like a good honey tobacco combo. And speaking of getting that one at a discount, if you want to have first exclusive access to anytime a great deal comes up, whether it's a discontinued scent, something that's generally hard to find, like your La Nuit de L'Homme Bleu Electrique, Dior Homme Parfum, things like that, hit the first link down below and sign up to my mailing list, or you can now text the number at the top of the description below, and then I will also send you out text notifications. If you don't like email, if you don't check your email, if you don't get notified from your email, hit on that number down below. Just send any text. It can be anything, and then that will add you to the list, and you will get text notifications as well. It's something new, and it's been highly requested, so I'm delivering that. It's completely free to sign up to this stuff, guys. I do all the heavy lifting, all the hard work of finding these deals and great prices and restocks. And also, there's a good chance that this will be showing up on discounters soon, possibly, if you stay tuned, just like Acqua di Gio Parfum. I don't even think it's still officially available for purchase at retail yet in the US, but it did hit discounters already, and as soon as it did, I sent out an email right away, and it sold out quick. It's things like that that you want to be in the loop for, so get signed up down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.